Let me see.
Good morning and welcome to For Fantasy's Sake, the Quad City's first and only fantasy football show. I am still asleep. To the other side of me is the over-caffeinated DJ. Over there is Chris. I don't know.
Are we doing the Night at the Roxbury?
Yes.
Yep. Let's do it.
Yes. That's Chris.
Baby, don't hurt me.
Don't ever sing again. With our three viewers that we normally
voice,
have,
DJ. Don't let him take that away from you.
So, big morning this morning. We are live everywhere. DJ decided to pony up some money for once, and now we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and the tweets as well. So thanks for joining us on your streaming platform of choice. Well, let's pull up the old rundown sheet and see what I said on Tuesday that we were going to talk about this week. Oh, yeah, we got dead quarterbacks all over the place. So, Dak died Sunday, and Andy Dalton came in to replace him. What is your expectation of the Red Rifle for going forward?
I think he's very capable of running that offense. I know towards the end of his tenure in Cincinnati, he didn't look great, but you have to consider the difference in offensive weapons that he had towards the end. AJ Green was always hurt. Tyler Eifert was always hurt. Gio Bernard was their best offense, their running back. And now he has three very good wide receivers, one of the best running backs in the league, and one of the best offensive lines in the league. So I have him as quarterback 14 this week, and I think that he could very well crack his way into the top 10 too.
I think you're going to see him crack his way into the top 10 because teams are going to be trying to come up and stack the box to stop Zeke. That's going to be their immediate concern, is stopping Zeke. And because of that, Dalton's going to flourish. This is also a defense that can't stop anyone. So he's going to be in a lot of situations where this team's going to be behind. They're going to be throwing a lot. So as long as he can stay away from a lot of turnovers in a game and is getting those red zone touchdowns, he's going to be a quarterback that I think is an absolute great pickup at this point.
Yeah, I definitely think that we talked a little bit about it on Wednesday, before you joined, Chris, and he's definitely a super flex option. And I would start. There's obviously 13 other quarterbacks in the NFL I would start this week over him, but going forward, I do think he is a guy that you could put in your lineup.
I think he fits very well with McCarthy too. It's kind of one of those things where you think back to that season that Aaron Rodgers was out almost the entire year, and how great that offense worked for McCarthy with a big banging running back and a quarterback who was just capable enough. It was a season where Eddie Lacy looked like he was going to be some kind of Pro Bowler or All-Pro every year, and then Eddie Lacy vanished off the face of the earth after that. So I think there's a lot of reason to believe that Zeke's still going to put up decent numbers, but I think the fact that people are going to be keying on Zeke allows Dalton to really ascend to a level we haven't seen him at in quite some time.
I did not watch the game last week. I only caught the highlights, but is there a sense of Dalton's favorite target? Did he seem to favor one dude over another?
He liked Gallup late in that last drive where they were trying to go down and score to win the game, but I think he's going to be a whoever's open type of play. I mean, he's a first read quarterback, and the thing that benefits him with that is no matter who your first read is, they're going to be able to get you yards and get you first downs. Because whether your first read's one of those three dudes or the running back, you have three capable guys, and then you have a tight end who can sit in the middle of the field if you need him.
I think there's going to be a huge difference between last week and going forward because there's a different mindset from backup quarterback just gets you through a game to you're the guy now. And I think that's something that Andy Dalton is really going to be okay with because he has been the guy for so long that now that he knows what his role is, that he's going to take off. And I think he's going to do very well here. This might be a thing where Mike McCarthy's time in Dallas is going to be very short because that offensive line is really beat up. They've had two players on that starting five that have barely played or haven't played at all. Of those guys that are perpetually some all-proers or first-team all-pro. So you want to see more from those guys up front. I think this team does need an overhaul in the offensive line, but they still have Zach Martin. They still have players that are elite. So there's going to be that protection there for Andy Dalton to use these weapons.
Right. Yeah.
Deej, while we're talking quarterback ranks, and since you copped out on me last week or the week before, where do you have Nick Foles ranked this week?
Mr. Large Member Nick is, let me scroll down.
He's scrolling down, Doug. You're already in trouble.
Remember Nick, quarterback 21, right between Carson Wentz and Baker Mayfield.
Hold up. You have Andy Dalton higher than Nick Foles.
7 spots, if my Rock Island math is correct.
Probably not. But anyway.
I quit the show.
Foles, I think there's a lot of reasons to watch this week's Bears game because Nagy was saying that if Foles isn't taking off this week, there's a problem. He promised that Foles was going to be a lot more crisp. It makes sense because they've had those extra couple days to get ready for this game that maybe they're going to have a lot of things cleaned up. But you think back to that Thursday night game where he's got the perfect play wide open for a first down on third down, and he puts it into the third row of the seats. And you shrug your shoulders because he's so inconsistent and it's so bizarre. But at the same time, he's got the work. He knows the offense. There's a reason to think that his accuracy is going to get better now that he has more consistent practice time and playing time.
Okay, Deej, I want to yell out a number, and you're going to give me a quarterback just because I want to spot check you.
All right.
This ought to be fun. 4.
Lamar Jackson.
Too low. Let's go.
You don't even know who 3, 2, and 1 are.
Still too low.
Well, we know one is going to be Patrick Mahomes because, yeah.
So Jackson should be probably 2, and Kyler Murray should be probably 3.
Kyler Murray is number 2, Josh Allen number 3, Lamar Jackson number 4.
I get Josh Allen. He came off of a pretty bad week, so I just want to see how that offensive line holds up against another front four because Tennessee made them look very bad. I think that you want to see that offensive line really show up. And I know we're arguing about Singletary on Thursday, DJ. This dude still hasn't had a 75-yard rushing season. He's holding himself up just by his receiving numbers. And I don't know that that's something that long-term is something that you want. You want somebody who can get you 100 yards in a game at least.
Yeah. I know Linda was excited. I would love to have had her on here today, but I know she was excited when Le'Veon Bell signed with the Chiefs because her Devin Singletary shares were secure. And,
right.
Honestly would like to hear more from her based on you and I being on opposite sides of the conversation there.
Well, and DJ, what do you think of that signing as a guy who is surrounded and draped in his chiefery? What do you think of Le'Veon Bell coming in, and is he going to be the guy? Is he going to be like a second a back that just gets in there every once in a while? What's his role, and how are they going to use him?
I think you're going to see a lot of him used in the passing game as well. So there'll be some situations where he and Clyde Edwards-Helaire are both on the field because that's a thing that Pittsburgh did a lot with him is use him in the slot. So I would expect to see some of that. I know the Chiefs wide receiver core is pretty loaded and pretty good, but I expect him to play more in the passing game than the running game. And plus it's boring to run the ball, so they should pass it all the time anyway. But I expect him and Edwards-Helaire kind of to both finish the season in like the running back 2 conversation.
I think that Edwards-Helaire has done everything you've asked of him to this point, and to hear things like people say that he needs to work on some stuff is very concerning to me. I think it's just trying to justify that Le'Veon Bell is coming in at this point. I don't like having 2 number 1 running backs on your team. I think if you look at what the Cleveland Browns did earlier this year, that running game was successful and both of those guys were doing great. But that team wasn't winning and looking as good as they do until there was some clarity at that position and Hunt had to take over because of an injury. So I think that it kind of is a too many mouths to feed situation. You want a clear number 1 running back, and you want somebody who's a specialist who can do some things well.
Are you saying that if we have 2 running backs, we don't have any?
I am so sick of hearing that in every single Bears game. I just cannot wait for that phrase to go away. It needs to go away right now.
Okay, I'll work on that. And also, DJ's a Chiefs fan? I thought he just was really.
I don't know. He likes chefs. He likes chefs the most.
So I just thought he had just like this big McDonald's fetish.
You never know.
His Cardinals stuff went through the wash and it came out weird. That's all that it is.
Yeah. Sure.
My Cardinals stuff went through the wash and ended up on the other side of Missouri.
It went through the wash and it came out on the Tampa Bay Rays and it hit more home runs than anybody's ever seen in a playoff series.
That's not true. That's not true. 2 guys hit 8. Come on.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was in a postseason, so he's still got a chance to break that record.
Correct, because he's at what, 6?
He's
7.
got more games, DJ. He's got more games.
He's at 7. The record's 8. That's going down.
We're talking about football, guys.
Okay. DJ's changing the subject now.
Yeah, because he knows he's wrong. And because he knows his team sucks. All right. What are the quarterback? 17. Who's your quarterback 17?
Hold on. Got to go back to it.
Children.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right. I'll give that a pass.
I hate the fact that people are really downgrading Carson Wentz this year. I think it's deserved, but at the same time, his skill set is so much better than where he has to be ranked right now. Fantasy-wise, I know why we're doing it, but skill-wise, that offensive line has went from one of the best in the league when they made it to the Super Bowl to really old in a hurry. That offensive line is maybe one of the worst in the NFL right now. And you're looking around at some guys that they're just guys, and Carson Wentz is making them into like all around great players. Like you see Fulgham last week just really come out of nowhere and be this player that looks like a true number 1. And that's mostly Carson Wentz. This is a guy who just got cut last year by the Lions. So this is a guy.
Yeah, I actually saw on Twitter, with they both have 1 year left on their deal. It said DeMarcus Robinson for Jason Kelce. Who says no? And because the Chiefs need offensive linemen, and then the Eagles need wide receivers.
Well, I don't know that they need wide receivers. I think they just need somebody on the offensive line who can be good right now. You see what Miles Sanders is doing, and maybe they can run block, but they just can't stay in that pass protection long enough to actually make something happen. I was really looking at Fulgham hard this week because of what he did the last couple weeks. And there were a lot of knocks on him coming out of college that he just wasn't like a really crisp route runner. He didn't run like really hard. And I think that while he has had these incredible last couple weeks, that may be true because there was a play in the fourth quarter on a third down that they really needed where the ball looked like it wasn't supposed to come to him, and he ran a really soft route. And then Wentz turns his way and he throws it to him in a key situation, and he wasn't ready for it. And that allowed Joe Hayden to actually break on the ball and break it up. Because he wasn't running his route as hard as he should have, that allowed a player to make a dynamic play and really kind of end that game for them. So now that you're seeing like players like Alshon start to come back, you're seeing that offense start to have more weapons. I think you really got to wonder if this is a guy long term that could be good, because if he's going to start losing concentration inside of a game, what's going to happen when his targets start to go down?
Is Alshon Jeffrey going to come back?
As a person who doubts Alshon Jeffrey has ever been healthy in his entire life, probably not. But I think he is supposed to be good to go this week.
No, he's out. He is out this week.
Oh, of course he is, because he's out.
He's out. Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in another segment.
I keep hearing he's close, but he's been close for like 4 years now, so I don't know.
Exactly. All right, that'll take us to the end of our first segment. We'll take a quick break here. On the other side of that, we are going to have ourselves an old-fashioned FFSQC street brawl, as a couple of our writers have conflicting opinions.
An old Donnybrook?
No.
All right.
Street brawl.
Donnybrook.
Donnybrook is pretty awesome, dude.
No.
Nope.
No. I'll give you a brouhaha.
We'll get into a Donnybrook.
Okay, you do that. All right. So, with all that said, Sunday is the best day at Kavanaugh's Hilltop. You can now enjoy a limited brunch menu while listening to your favorite jamokes talk about fantasy football. And let me tell you, there's nothing better than Kavanaugh's Brunch Burger, which is a sizzling all-beef patty topped with an egg and hash browns and served with a side of hand-cut fries. Stick around after the show and grab one of their 250 tall boys or a Bloody Mary while checking out all of the action from every game around the league and keeping up with your fantasy studs on one of their numerous screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. That's Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill, 1228 30th Street in Rock Island, the non-bubble home of For Fantasy's Sake. And I did see on their Facebook page last night, they did put up the plastic. So the patio is warm.
So it is kind of a bubble.
It is a bubble. It's a semi-bubble bubble. All righty. So we're going to have you guys play tiebreaker, or at least just argue about stuff for a little bit. So as everybody knows, we've got multiple writers on our site. Please go check those folks out. That is at forfantasysakeqc.com. One of our writers, Bonnie Robinson, in her Start Sit article this week said to sit Marvin Jones, and Michael Sicoli, who does our DFS, who does some of our DFS writing, he said to start in DFS. So where do you guys come down on that?
Not to sit on the fence, but I think that
No. You sit on the fence on everything. I want a decision.
But
Sorry.
no, all I'm going to say is you think things a little differently in DFS based on prices and everything like that. So, I mean, you could potentially start guys in DFS that you're sitting in season long, but I'll go on the side of sitting. I don't even have Marvin Jones in my top 40, and I have Kenny Golladay at 30. So I'm gonna have to see something out of Detroit offensively before I trust anybody not named Kenny Golladay. And I mean, I'm starting Stafford in one league, but that's different.
Yeah, I think that Marvin Jones is seeing 22 targets this year, and he has 12 catches. That's way too inefficient. This is a guy who used to be considered to be a really solid option. Right now, there's just no consistency there. I just can't invest in anybody in the Detroit offense until Matt Patricia is fired, which I think is coming sooner rather than later, because I just want to see my Swift stock take off right now. There's got to be a reason why he can't get on the field. Every time he does, he's dynamic and he's better than the other two. But Patricia is this old school guy that wants to have these veterans take the ball, and why not have Swift on the field? If you need a spark, Get somebody in there who can give you that spark. Adrian Peterson is a solid running back at this point in his career. He is a Hall of Famer, but he's not a Hall of Famer this year. Okay, so let's get somebody on the field who can help make some plays and take some pressure off of Stafford at this point.
Fantastic.
Continue, I'm sorry. One thing I saw that I wanted to ask you guys about is people are kind of on the fence about Hawkinson too. Do you buy into TJ Hawkinson? He's put up really solid numbers this year because of being able to get into the end zone. Do you think he's consistent enough to be slotted into people's lineups?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of those talented tight ends who is gonna fail his way up. So he's a guy that I do like as a tight end on a weekly basis. Matter of fact, I have him as tight end 9 this week. Yeah, tight end 8 this week. So I think that he's one of those members of that offense who kind of can produce even when they're not very good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've been rolling with him for a while as my number 1 tight end in a couple of leagues, I think. So
you referred to DeAndre Swift, and we do have a couple DeAndre Swift questions. I might as well bounce them up as you know why we're here. Kurt Clark wants to know PPR James White or DeAndre Swift. I'm going James White.
I think James White, just for the consistency of it, you know what you're going to get out of James White. If there's going to be a week that DeAndre Swift does blow up, it's going to be this week. Because coming off of the bye, there's no reason not to be playing him at this point and getting him more touches because of how well he has done already this year and what he showed in college. You've got to start to actually invest in what your franchise has invested in here. I mean, I know Matt Patricia is super hyper-focused on trying to lose every single game he can, but you need to look at what can help this franchise going forward, even if you're not a part of it. You need to start playing Swift.
White.
Yeah. And then our other DeAndre Swift question, John Tracy wants to know DeAndre Swift or Cole Beasley in his flex. I think again I'm going Beasley against a soft Chiefs defense.
I think you got to go with a wide receiver at this point after you saw what Ruggs and Nelson Aguilar did to the Chiefs last week. There's every reason to think that Beasley, being that guy running across the middle, isn't going to face much resistance. DJ, I'm sure you can tell me, but who are any of the Chiefs linebackers that aren't rushing a quarterback? Because I just haven't seen them on the field.
Yeah, well, that's because they're not playing very good. So
okay, all right.
Plus, I'm an offensive guy. I don't know any of those defensive guys' names.
I just watch the games. I don't pay attention to them.
If their name's not Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Tyrann Mathieu, I don't give a crap about them. Oh, I can say shit now. I don't give a shit about them.
Actually correct. And Beasley for the question there.
And Linda's not here, but she would definitely tell you Cole Beasley because she loves him.
Yes. All right. So the other one that Bonnie said, now this goes the other way. So now Bonnie said to start David Montgomery while Michael said to sit him. So where are we coming down on Monty?
Can I sit the fence here too?
No, that's not the game.
Well, DFS is just different. It's just different. So you can fully throw a guy in your season-long lineup but not want to pay his salary for DFS. I'm just saying it's a little. I'm gonna start him this week. I have David Montgomery running back 14.
I just can't get over the fact that it looks like every time he touches the ball, there's got to be a reason why he is trying to get out of the backfield with like 3 guys draped all over him. It can't just be the play calling because Tariq Cohen, if you go back to the beginning of the year, he looked really good. He was right around like 5 yards a carry. So the fact that David Montgomery is instantly tackled the moment that he gets the ball is really concerning to me. Looking back to that Tampa Bay game, what had to be his like longest carry of the game? It had to be like around 7 yards. So the fact that he just can't get out of his own way really is upsetting to me. Matt Nagy seemed very frustrated with that offense overall. maybe we're going to see a breakout this week. I'm not 100% sold on David Montgomery being that breakout player, though.
I think he's kind of like, when you talk about rankings, he's kind of like Todd Gurley, where the 100-yard games are nice, but you're ranking him based on his opportunities to fall into the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Gurley broke out last week with 120 some odd yards, and he fell in the end zone once. But I feel like you're playing Montgomery based on his opportunities to fall in the end zone. And I think with Foles as quarterback and against Carolina, those opportunities are going to be there for him to get a chance to get in the end zone.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be the running back who's on the Bears that I'm not sold on against the Carolina running back who used to be on the Bears, who I'm still not sold on. So this is not a good game for me. Either way, I feel like I lose.
Tell me how you really feel, Chris.
You know how I feel, Doug.
What you really, really want?
All right, that's 2. At 3 songs, we cut in your mic.
Do you have that ability?
Doug's got all the ability.
I will send my wife to your house. No, I'll just text Meg, and she will cut you off.
Have her unplug the internet.
Yes.
Doug's going to tell your wife that you're singing, and she's just going to unplug all media so the rest of the world doesn't have to deal with that.
But I don't want it that way.
Wow.
I referenced it, didn't sing it.
This isn't good.
He's getting better, Doug. He's getting better. Either that or we're getting worse.
We're getting worse. Getting worse. All right, DJ.
I need more coffee.
Who is your number 18 wide receiver?
Ooh, wide receiver talk. Number 18 wide receiver, returning from injury, Devontae Adams.
That low? Really?
Yeah, I just feel like with them coming back this week and Rodgers' newfound obsession with Robert Tonyan, that they could kind of, I think the target share for Adams will be a little lower than what we're used to. So again, I think this is a need to get into the end zone type of thing. I mean, I'm still rolling with him, but yeah, Adams at number 16.
Yeah, I don't think Tonyan is going to be that much of a big deal once Adams is like more of a full go right now. I think that shows a great trust in him that Rodgers has, and that's going to be big moving forward, especially as like the fantasy playoffs come up and the weather starts to turn bad, and that team's probably going to turn more into a more traditional ground and pound, get it to the tight end around the red zone type of situation. I think that's where Tanyan's really going to be a guy who takes away from what Adams does. This week, I would think Adams was going to be great. In another kind of wide receiver question, Justin Began asked us if we can trust Braden Cooks, who I've told you guys several times already this week that Braden Cooks is double dead to me because I started him and he got me a 0. And then last week he goes off for maybe 30 points, depending on what league you're in. And I had him on my bench. So he's double dead to me. I don't know what to do about this dude. I think he's starting for me this week because why not at this point?
I have him at wide receiver 35 this week. So sitting in that wide receiver 3, that slash flex area. So yeah, you're probably starting. What I do is I rank 40 running backs and 40 wide receivers, and likely you're starting all of them. If you own them, you're likely starting them because everybody has a flex. Most leagues, you start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. So that's where the fun questions come from because I don't do flex rankings, but maybe I should. But if I say, yeah, Cook's wide receiver 35. So unless you own 3 to 4 of those wide receivers above that 34 mark, you're starting Brandon Cooks.
Fair enough. All right, that will take us to.
Give me one more number, Doug.
Okay. Wide receiver 29.
T.Y. Hilton.
Seems about right.
Yeah.
Chris, do you have any problems with that?
T.Y. Hilton is kind of been inconsistent this year. And the fact that Phillip Rivers just hasn't seemed to be able to put it together any given week makes you not really trust that T.Y. Hilton's going to see the end zone. I think it was early on this year, Philip Rivers said he was trying to bridge the gap between aggressive and stupid. And I think he's just taken both of those options off the table and he's going with safe. That's the only thing he's concerned about right now because that defense is so good that he just doesn't have to make mistakes and they can win games.
He has 75 kids. He's never done anything safe in his life.
Yeah, or stupid. Lots of stupid. All right. So now can I go to break?
Yeah, you can go to break.
Okay, so we're going to go to break. On the other side of this, we'll talk some waiver guys. We've talked a couple of them already, but we'll talk about maybe some guys, whether we think they're worth your time playing this week. All right. Located in the Belgian neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clint's House Pizza and Grill is home to the Quad City's best food and drink specials. On Sundays, there's no better place to be. Clint's is serving up 75-cent wings and $4 Bloody Marys all day. Team playing in those out-of-market games, you'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. And after you've had your wing and bloody fix, finish your football watching experience off with one of their famous Quad City-style pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC-style pies for the last 22 years. So make Clint's part of your Sunday football routine. Clint's Draft House Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline. My commercial needs to be longer. I'm still working on my cookie.
And it ends all of a sudden.
Yeah, there's no warning for me. All right, so let's talk a couple of guys who may or may not be worth your time picking up this week. So first off, let's start with Chase Claypool. Is he somebody worth your time, or do you think he's just kind of a 1-week wonder?
I think based on what that's the team he plays for, the Steelers do offensively, I don't think you can really discount anybody who plays wide receiver. And with Deontay Johnson injured, when I originally did my rankings, we thought he might play, and I had him at wide receiver 28 and Claypool at wide receiver 31. I might actually flip-flop that now. I mean, obviously I would take Deontay Johnson out of my ranks, but I would bump Claypool up maybe to the 25-26 range. Without Deontay Johnson, I'm very high on what they can do offensively, and it looks like Claypool is a deep threat right now for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing with him is you knew coming into this year he was going to be a guy with strong hands and be really physical and be able to go up and get the ball. But I think the fact that he has shown such consistency in making big plays, at least early on, has to make you feel really comfortable with him, because even if he's not going to put up a huge number, he's going to not kill you either. And I think that's something that has really impressed me about him, is the fact that he is being consistent, even though he's not getting a ton of targets. Now that the targets are increasing, those numbers should continue to increase as well. Even going back to last week's game against the Eagles, he had a big play that was overturned on replay, and he had a big play that was overturned on a super questionable pass interference call. So you could have had him have even a bigger week last week. So the potential is there for him to be a breakout guy. I think it's going to continue to work for him just because the intangibles that he has, his size, physicality, and just overall hands.
Yeah, I think he had something like 11 targets, plus they got him involved in the running game too. And what they call him, not the big maple, but Mapletron. They call him Mapletron all week. And it is terrible, but it's fun, Doug. It's fun. You're not too old to have fun.
Yes, I am.
You're not the fun police.
Yes, I am.
Doug doesn't like fun.
The morality police this season, I am the fun police.
Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, with Deontay Johnson not playing, Claypool's definitely a guy I might get in my lineup. I would get in my lineup this week.
Mm-hmm. Well,
All right.
and you also mentioned in our rundown, like Alex Madsen.
Yeah, that's
That's something, Doug, that I think it's a good idea. It's going to be hard because I think most people believe that Dalvin Cooks is going to get injured at some point. And he's got a good burst. He's a good running back. There's no reason that he shouldn't be on somebody's lineup, at least as a handcuff. If he's not, you should be getting him automatically because Dalvin Cook is just one of those guys that is immensely talented, but he's going to miss games. He's proven that so much already in his career, and it looks like it's going to remain that way.
Yeah, and Madison's actually a fairly decent running back in his own right. So he's worth being rostered even if he wasn't handcuffed to Cook. But the fact that he is handcuffed to Cook makes him doubly more valuable. Everywhere that I have Cook, I have Madison.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to because it's like you said, he is skilled. But at the same time, you're going to get those games somewhere on the schedule where he's going to be the only running back on the field.
Factually correct. All right, and then the last guy, we touched on him a little bit, but Tyler Fulgham. Fulgham? How do you say that?
Fulgham.
Travis Fulgham.
Whatever. I can't say his first name. I can't say his last name. Just talk about him.
I think as long as Jeffrey and or Deshaun Jackson are out, he's a guy that you're getting in your lineup every week. So he's a guy that I would have spent a lot of fab dollars on, and I would have made him a top waiver priority this week. He, as long as he is the number one pass option, because you're not playing Greg Ward, but I would definitely. He's another guy I think I would just jam in my lineup if I was able to grab him until he proves otherwise.
I picked him up on the waiver wire as well, and then I watched a lot of the Eagles and Pittsburgh game because I thought these are two guys that we kind of have to try and come away with opinions on in Claypool and Fulgham. The thing is that he looks like he's really engaged right up until he's not. And I think that was something that was on his draft sheet coming out of college, is that he's a player who will not run very crisp routes. He looked like when he knew the ball was coming to him that he was ready to go and he was going to really make a great play. Any other time, I think he was kind of loafing it a little bit. So I would worry about his long-term value when those guys start to come back. But right now, I think you're right, DJ. I think you have to kind of jam him in your lineup. One guy I think is set for a big week in the Eagles, on the Eagles roster, that people have kind of started to forget about is Zach Ertz. This week, Wentz talked about getting extra work in with him this week, so Ertz is going to potentially have a bigger game. And Baltimore has really struggled to cover tight ends. So I would look for some extra production coming from Ertz this week, especially with Goddard being all banged up and probably out.
All right, let's play some more numbers games. DJ, who's your running back number 14?
We already talked about this. David Montgomery.
Oh, okay. I forgot who was.
It's okay.
Who was where? All right, then give me 15.
Ronald Jones III.
Rojo.
I would think he'd maybe even need to be a little higher than that. He looked very good against the Bears, like just making people miss. And I think that team's believing in him more than they ever have in the past.
I think with Fournette legitimately active this week, that's why I kind of bumped Rojo down a little bit.
Gotcha. Yeah, he was active last week, but he never even saw the field, I don't think.
He came in for the kneel down at the end of the first half. But
there you go.
Ooh, that's the
I think that one of the things that kind of concerned me with Rojo last week against the Bears is when they were in the 2-minute drill and when on third downs, there's a lot of Keyshawn Vaughn. So I kind of worry. But like we talked about, I think on Wednesday, he still saw a lot of targets, which was really weird. You know, he wasn't playing on third downs, didn't play in the 2-minute drill, but he saw a lot of targets in that game. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to gauge what kind of running back he's going to be fantasy-wise.
The hands have been a concern with him. I think they're assuming that maybe he's starting to get better at that. And since teams are going to stop covering him because he can't catch, maybe now he's going to be more wide open than he has ever been before. And there's reason to believe that he's going to make some catches. He probably should have had a receiving touchdown on the one that they put at the 2-yard line. So it's one of those things where you just chalk it up to bad officiating and killing your fantasy team.
Yep. Luckily, I guess I own him in the staff league too, but one of the leagues I own Ronald Jones, I also own Mike Evans. So
Mike Evans has to have at least like 5 touchdowns this year under 2 yards.
Yes. We can talk about Mike Evans right now. We will talk Tampa Bay, Green Bay here in a second. But Mike Evans, I haven't looked at the rapid fires, DJ. Let me just make sure that this is not a rapid fire.
No, it's not.
Okay. So Mike Evans has scored a touchdown in every single game this week. Will that streak continue? Yes or no?
If he scored a touchdown every game this week, that'd be really swell.
I'm still not awake.
With Godwin active, yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure at this point. I just want to see a little bit more before I make up my mind.
Chris, yes or no?
Yeah.
No, DJ. I say no just to you.
All right.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, DJ.
What's up?
Where do you have your boy Danny Dimes ranked this week?
My boy Danny Dimes. I hate Danny Dimes. Daniel Jones is ranked QB 19, 2 spots of large member Nicholas.
Ahead or behind?
Ahead of.
Yeah.
Okay. You're officially off the show.
I think Daniel Jones, the only reason to believe in him was last week he was facing the Dallas defense. And because Dallas's defense is terrible, you just can't believe the way things have been going this year, that there's any reason to continue to think that Daniel Jones is going to put up those same kind of numbers. If you go back and look at his previous weeks, he was struggling to get 1 passing touchdown. So last week he blows up because he's facing Dallas's defense and they can't cover anyone. And all of a sudden, Daniel Jones is going to have some wake up moment where he's going to break out. I just don't buy it. I think Daniel Jones is going to revert back to the guy we saw in the previous weeks, because there's too much of a body of work now to think otherwise, that he's unlocked something. There's nothing here to really unlock at this point. It's just he's going to beat up on the bums, and he's going to struggle against teams that are just relatively good.
Yeah, plus he has a turnover in every single game that he's ever played. So
is that serious?
Yeah.
Dang,
well,
that's pretty.
He's consistent then, Doug. He's very consistent.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean that kind of level of badness is almost as bad as your singing.
Oh, nothing's as bad as my singing.
Oh.
Yeah, I suppose. All right.
At least DJ can get in tune. It doesn't seem like Daniel Jones has an opportunity to get in tune with anything. So we'll see.
I have better backup singers. I have a better you and Doug are better than the receivers the Giants have.
No, that's factually correct.
Well, wasn't Slayton taken really high? Wasn't he a first rounder? And shouldn't that guy be actually making something of himself by this point in his career?
I think he was a second or third rounder.
Ingram was a first rounder.
The 5th rounder.
Oh, okay. Somebody on that offense was supposed to be good, and
that'd be Saquon Barkley.
Well,
yeah,
no. Wide receiver wise,
Evan Ingram.
Okay.
Ingram's tight end.
Pick number 23.
Okay, so that makes sense.
All right. Okay, that will take us to the end of this segment. And then on the other side of this, we will talk a little Bears and a little Packers. All right, so whose turn is it? Yes. Durham Remodeling has been serving the Quad Cities area since 1973. With nearly 50 years of excellence on their track record, you'll see why it's so easy to trust their experts when it comes to all your home improvement projects. Durham Remodeling's work is 100% guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best service around. Call 309-786-6715 for all your roofing, siding, flooring, windows, and painting needs. That's Durham Remodeling, 309-786-6715. I also saw they were hiring this week, so if you need a job, also call that number. If you've got any carpentry skills, which I do not.
Same.
All right. What are we doing? Bears Packers. That's what we're talking about. All right. So, big game this afternoon is going to be the Bay of Pigs. So, we've got Green Bay, Tampa Bay going. So, all of the announcers will all be talking Brady, Rodgers, and I'll be sick from listening to all that. So, let's talk the other side of the ball. On their defenses, what do we think about the ability from both the Packers and the Bucs to slow down either one of these old men?
Both younger than Doug.
No, I'm the same age as Brady.
To the day?
I have to look. I'm in January, so I'm probably older than Brady.
Yeah,
again,
older than both of them.
Whatever.
In football, you're old the minute you hit 30.
Yeah, well, they both entered the NFL when I was still in diapers, but I was still in diapers like 3 weeks ago. So, I think this is going to be, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to be poorly wrong. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. I'm not sure what the over under is, but I would pick the over. I just think that both these quarterbacks are really freaking good. And I think Rodgers is just on another planet right now, especially with no fans in the stands, which I know there's going to be fans in Tampa Bay, but he's just been super good at like hard counts and getting free plays, which has turned out to be awesome for him. And
cheating. It's called cheating.
It's not cheating.
It's absolutely cheating.
The other team's cheating because they're offsides, I guess, would be what I would say.
They're trying to
play
jump
football,
the
or do you
snap
want to
count, right?
officiate the rule book?
Would you say, Doug?
Oh, I was recounting my very first get off my lawn. Chris is probably saying something more intelligent.
No, I was letting Doug talk. Well, and I think there's no reason not to believe in Green Bay's defense at this point. Kenny Clark is probably one of the best nose tackles in the league. Rashawn Gary is a player who rightly got drafted in the first round. You look at the way the Zadarius Smith is playing this year, you got to like what he does. Jair Alexander is one of the top overall corners in the league. So they have players all around the field that are going to cause Brady a lot of problems. I think we're going to see Brady look old in this game for the first time, maybe similar to what we saw in week 1. But at this point, I think you've got to like the Packers a lot more than you'd like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because Green Bay just looks like they have every reason to be a team that should be considered a Super Bowl contender this year. I haven't seen enough from Tampa Bay's defense to really think, ooh, watch out for that guy. Do they even really have somebody that you really worry about on that defense? I can't really name anybody. So,
Sue. I mean,
Ndamukong Suh?
say what?
Who did you say?
Sue.
Ndamukong Suh?
Yeah, Ndamukong Suh.
He's still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Okay.
I think getting Kenny Clark back for the Packers is actually going to be real big. He's been sorely missed in that interior.
Mm-hmm. If this team had like a legitimate like middle linebacker guy that could run around and get people, I would think that they would be the number 1 team like in the NFL right now. But they still probably are missing Blake Martinez a little bit. I don't really know that there's anybody to really pick up the slack for them. It just in that kind of middle linebacker, go get them, be a tackling machine every time role. Preston Smith is very good, but at the same time, they need somebody who can just be a tackling dummy out there.
Emphasis on the dummy part.
Yeah,
Tackle all the dummies.
absolutely. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about that game? Anything that you think there might be a key other than the two talking quarterbacks?
Stopping Robert Tanya. No. I think I do have him ranked low, but I think getting Adams back is gonna be good for Rodgers, especially the fact that Adams has been healthy enough to play for 2 weeks, and they sat him out the Monday night game, and then they had their bye week. So I think Adams is healthy, but I think that he's just going to have to adjust getting back into the lineup. And as far as defensively for Green Bay, it's going to be choosing who Jair Alexander is going to cover, Godwin or Evans, because he can't cover them both, obviously.
I think you have Jair Alexander cover Godwin, because what you've seen from Mike Evans is he's not going to matter until he gets in the red zone. And they're not even like trying to look his way, because you watch him try and just get up and down the field, like in between plays, and he's just gimping, like straight out gimping up and down the field. Maybe those extra days will get him back closer to 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I think the biggest factor in this game is going to be Aaron Jones. If Aaron Jones gets rolling early, then it's going to be an easy Packers win. On the other side of the ball, I think a lot of people believe that when O.J. Howard went down, Cameron Brate was going to be the guy to ascend. And from what they said during the Thursday night broadcast, Brady's really high on what Cameron Brate can do. But then at the same time, you're looking at Tampa Bay and they're throwing to another tight end. They're still trying to get the ball to Gronk for some reason. And so I don't see Cameron Brate being a guy who breaks out here. I think the tight end position, more or less when these wide receivers are all healthy, kind of just vanishes out of the system.
Rapid fire. Does Tom Brady throw a pick six this week? Yes or no?
No, it's too rare.
He's done it like 3 times this year. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah, I know, but that's the reason that I'm betting against it, Doug, is it's happened so much that it can't happen again, can it?
Everybody said in week 1, oh, this will never happen again. It happens twice since then. So
Jameis Winston could do that all on his own.
Yes. Yeah, I've been enjoying those memes of him going, I could have done that. All right. Let's talk a little bit Bears tight end situation, rolling from that. So at the start of training camp, everybody's like, oh, Cole Kmet is going to get all these catches, and Jimmy Graham's just there to basically mentor and teach him. And Cole Kmet his face is now on the back of a milk carton, and Jimmy Graham is catching everything in sight. So what do you expect that going forward? I guess there's been talk this week that they're going to make an effort to get Kmet on the field more, get him some more snaps. What do we think that breakdown is going to look like this week and going forward?
I saw a stat that Jimmy Graham has 1 fewer touchdowns through 5 weeks as a Bear than he did in 2 years in Green Bay. I think that he's still the red zone guy for Nick Foles. So even if Kmet gets in the game and gets some looks, I don't think that the touchdowns are there for him.
Yeah, and I think that really the first week out, you saw Cole Kmet get on the field like a lot for a rookie. It was like, I think it was around 32% of the time. And you thought, okay, they're just going to keep building on this. I think the fact that Jimmy Graham has played so well already has kind of justified that signing. At the time, everybody couldn't wait to kill the Bears because of it. I was one of them, where I didn't understand what they were doing other than Ryan Pace wanting to get his like New Orleans Saints guys on the Bears because he came from that New Orleans system. So it didn't make any sense to me. It makes a ton of sense to me now. They just need somebody who can out physical people for the ball. And I think that Cole Kmet isn't that guy at this point in his career. He's a guy who can be good enough to get on the field, but he's not a guy you want to be an X factor or game changer. And I think this is going to be a redshirt year.
Do you see enough out of him to go, okay, you're cool with him being a second round pick and he may emerge into that type of player going forward, though? Or
I think
sample size is too small?
I think it was a desperation pick. I think they believed we just need to have somebody here to unlock this offense. We need to have somebody who can become our Kittle or Kelsey. And you're not going to find that probably in the draft. Even if you're taking the top overall tight end in the draft, you're probably not going to find one of those two guys because it's so rare. It's one of those things where I think that they believed if they got production out of the tight end position, it was going to change things for them. I think that's why there was so much frustration last year when they had maybe the worst group of tight ends in the league. And they thought they could just change that by throwing bodies at it. And this is kind of the, okay, we've got our guys. This is what it's going to be going forward anyway.
I was getting ready to say that after you were done, Chris. I think they expected Kmet to be their Travis Kelce, and it's not happening. And Graham has been the big body. So he's been. They want Kmet to be Travis Kelce, but Graham's been the Vernon Davis, I guess, a guy who really hasn't. Vernon Davis late in his career, where he wasn't moving too well, but he could still, make bigger plays in the end zone and stuff like that. But I agree with you to where I think this is a redshirt year for Cole Kmet, and maybe an off season where he can better get into what Nagy wants to do offensively if Nagy's the coach next year, which I kind of believe that they're going to.
Yeah, you have to keep him now.
I believe
4-1, you're fine.
Right. And so I think another year where he better gets a sense of that offense, that he could be better next year. But like you said, it's hard to expect to find. I mean, George Kittle wasn't even George Kittle in the draft. And there was Travis Kelce. They were both late round guys.
That was another year the Bears took a second round tight end that they expected to be good because he was mini Gronk, and then he was terrible. So George Kittle was sitting right there for him. They passed on him for a guy that they thought had more talent or was higher ranked. The tight end who's not on the team anymore. He got hurt all the time. Doug, do you remember?
Oh yeah, Shaheen. Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, Adam Shaheen. Yeah,
he got hurt last week for Jacksonville too. It was hilarious.
Yes.
Well, it's not hilarious. It's not hilarious when people get hurt.
It's not funny when people get hurt, but yeah, he's kind of always hurt, or he has something wrong with him. So I don't know. The fact that Cole Kmet was supposed to be an impact player for this team and be like a day one starter, and Demetrius Harris has more targets than him, that's something I don't think people could have seen coming.
Well, he knows the offense.
Demetrius Harris, I think this is his first year with the Bears, or maybe he was among the 50 tight ends they had last year.
He was in Kansas City.
Well, then there you go.
Chiefs.
Yep.
Sorry for making a good observation.
Okay.
We're not used to making good observations.
Why will these cowards not pay Allen Robinson? My boy.
I love Allen Robinson. The fact that I guess the only reason you can come away with the wouldn't pay him is the fact that he has like 5 interceptions to his name this year, where he's just openly giving the ball away to the other team. It's a freak thing. I don't think it's anything to really worry about, but the ball was clearly in his hands during these like 5 different interceptions that have happened now. And I think he's an elite wide receiver. I don't think you're going to get any. While he's playing the Twitter games of I'm going to be a bad teammate or I'm going to be a guy who doesn't care, like on Twitter, when he's in the game, and he's going to produce. I don't think there's any reason to worry about him at this point. You can figure this stuff out after the season. If you want to pay him after the season, go for it. If you want to move on, I get it.
This just in, Allen Robinson, EA Sports.
Huh?
Yeah, when he's in the game, he's in the game.
Wow.
That's bad. That's really bad. Okay.
That's me picking low-hanging fruit.
Also terrible. Okay. So send us your questions. We're going to take a break. On the other side of this, we'll talk to the inactives. DJ may or may not have a trivia question this week.
I do.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we will have a trivia question. We will talk inactives. Send us your questions. You can send those always. You can drop them in the chat here on the stream. You can drop them in on Facebook. You can tweet them at us at FFSQC. And we will answer them all on the other side. All right. Who are we reading this time? Football season is just underway, and if you spend Sundays watching football anywhere with Van's Pizza Pub and Grill, you've been doing it wrong. Van's Pizza Pub and Grill, 3333 North Harrison Street in Davenport, is the best place to catch all of your favorite games. And with 13 weeks left in the season, or however many weeks there are left, because I haven't updated the sheet in a while, you still got time to make it your new routine. Start your meal off with your famous McGuire's original nachos or bready nuggets, and then ask about one of their original QC-style pizzas. Or be your own quarterback and call an audible and create your own. The Vans crew will make sure that your play call hits pay dirt every time. Vans Pizza Pub and Grill, 3333 North Harrison Street in Davenport. Come get served. All right. So, Dijel, do you have a trivia question for us?
All right. So the trivia question, it's a for fantasy sake trivia question. Today, it's our first time on Twitter and YouTube. How many shows did For Fantasy Sake do Facebook Live exclusive? So how many shows have we done live before today?
Randy Moss.
Not 84. Not even 18 either.
It is Randy Moss. You're right, Doug.
Woohoo! I win. What do I win?
Kick in the butt.
Oh.
I get that all the time from my wife. I don't need one from you, too. All right. Let's see who's on the inactive list this morning. All right. So who do we got? For the Falcons, we have Quadre Allison is the only offensive skill player. So nothing really interesting there. For the Ravens, Trace McSorley, Chris Moore are out. Derek Wolfe is also out on the defensive side. I believe he is on the Rona list. For the Carolina Panthers, Eli Apple is out. That's bad because he's terrible. That would have been a good person to target. No Will Greer, no surprise there. No Curtis Samuel, which was a bit of a surprise for Carolina. Guys, were you playing Curtis Samuel at any point?
I was not.
No.
Okay.
Not
There's your answer to that. For the Bears, only offensive skill position is Riley Ridley. He is down this week. Not that you were going to play him anyway.
Be faster, Riley Ridley. Be faster.
Your brother is great. Why do you suck so bad?
He's good in college-ish.
Yeah. Ish. All right. For the Bengals, no kicker. Austin Siebert is down, so Linda's crying tears. No Auden Tate and no Travion Williams. For the Browns have no offensive skill people down. They have Ronnie Harrison, Joe Jackson, Carl Joseph, so two safeties and a defensive lineman. Jacob Phillips, a defensive tackle in Vincent Taylor, and OG Wyatt Teller. I'm evidently still asleep. For the Broncos, no Jeff Driscoll this week. No Noah Fant, no Melvin Gordon, no KJ Hamler. Gordon was touch and go there for a while, but I think it came in last night that he was not going to play. But so no real surprise there.
Brown bag flu.
Yeah. What did he get busted for this week? What was he in trouble for?
DUI and speeding, considerably over the speed limit.
That's the brown bag flu, Doug.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember what it was. I was thinking it was domestic violence. You never know anymore with these. For the Lions, we got the tongue twister names in here for me this week. We've got David Blau, quarterback is down, and Quintez Cephas is also not playing. Double bonus points to DJ if he can spell Quintez Cephas without looking.
I would worry more about Desmond Trufant also being out.
Cephus.
Yeah, you're definitely looking because you don't have your camera on.
Cheating.
Yeah, cheating. Just like
he's still cheating. Even though we can't hear him, he's still cheating. I'm okay with it.
He's definitely
I have to go pee.
Just like all St. Louis Cardinals, still cheaters. All right, where was I? Okay, Houston Texans. No Kiki QT, no Buddy Howell, no Jordan Akins this week. For the Colts, no Mo Alley Cox, no Jacob Eason, no Darius Fountain, no Darius Leonard, which is a big deal, and no Desmond Patman. Mo Alley Cox has been a bit of a darling for the Colts. Chris, is there? Who would you be willing to fire up a Jack Doyle? I know you're not as high on him.
I think coming into this year, you thought Jack Doyle was going to be the main tight end. I think he's proven a couple years ago when he was healthy that if he gets a lion's share of the tight end targets, he can be fantasy relevant. I think that he would be a guy to take a look at. I'm not 100% sold on Mo Alley Cox overall. I think he's just a big body guy to look at in the red zone. And that if you're not getting those red zone targets, he's pretty worthless to you. I'd be okay with giving Doyle a chance, just see how things work out.
Fair enough.
Going back to the Lions real quick, though, Doug, they've got Desmond Trufant down. They also have another one of their top corners is probably done for the year. So look at that also as a good matchup there. I don't know who has the Lions this week, but it would probably be a good idea to take a shot at whoever is facing them. Jacksonville. So, yeah, DJ Chark probably could have a big week, or also Chenault.
Yes, and they are both active this week. Thank you for my transition into Jacksonville. Who don't have D.D. Westbrook, he is down, or Josh Allen. But I believe Josh Allen's missed most of the season. They're down in Jags land. For the Vikings, no Dalvin Cook, no surprise there. No KJ Osborne either. For the Patriots, no Brian Hoyer. That experiment is over and done with. And no J.J. Taylor.
Means Jarrett's still a backup quarterback, Chris.
My boy, he has a chance to look awful again.
Chris, if Cam Newton gets hurt or whatever, we might see both of our more swag than talent guys today.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised about that. We'll have them have a swag off instead of actually having a skills competition on the field.
Who's got a douchier haircut?
Definitely Travis Kelce.
Wow.
Oh, side swipes.
For the Giants, no RJ. No, that's a defensive end. I was thinking that was tight end. Tight end Eric Tomlinson. No Tomlinson for the Giants. Otherwise, their usual hot pile of garbage will be out there.
No Dan Tomlinson?
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Sure.
He's also not playing this week. Also not broadcasting as far as I know. For Philly, no Deshaun Jackson, no Alshon Jeffrey. Chris is shocked. No Nate Sudfeld. But that does mean then that quarterback from Oklahoma won the Heisman. Can't remember his name.
Jalen Hurts.
Thank you. He is up. So maybe we'll see a little bit of his action this week.
Well, and he's been playing steadily the last couple weeks. Still seeing less than 10% of snaps, but he's getting in there in specialist packages. So it might be something to keep an eye on moving forward. I still wouldn't roster him at this point, but it's something to kind of look at to see how his usage continues to progress.
Agreed. I think he's somebody to put on your watch list on your waiver wire.
Yeah, I'd say that's 100% where he should be.
For the Steelers, no Josh Dobbs, no Zach Gentry, no Deontay Johnson, which we talked about earlier. For the Titans, no offensive skill players are down. For Washington, no Dwayne Haskins, no Marcus Bow. There's been some talk this week about Terry McLaurin and what to do with him. DJ, do you have McLaurin ranked? Where do you have him ranked at?
1 second. Got to pull it up.
He had an off week last week. I think that kind of hurts his stock, but the fact that he's putting up such steady numbers with so many inconsistencies at quarterback has to make you feel like he's definitely a keeper to keep an eye on going forward, because you want him on your team. Once he has a real quarterback, this could be an elite potential. So just the fact that he's stuck on a team right now that has no aspirations and is going nowhere, I think he's going to benefit if he does get traded.
To go against everything that Chris just said, I have his ranking on Doug's shirt.
And I did say he is putting up consistent numbers. He just had a bad week last week. I think if he had somebody who was talented as his quarterback, that would be where you saw him really take off.
Chris, I want to call you out on something. What is a real quarterback? At what point do we not have a real quarterback? Is Nick Foles a real quarterback?
I would say anybody who could be ranked as a quarterback in the top 30 on DJ's little quarterback list is a real quarterback. I would give Nick I would call him a real quarterback. Yeah, absolutely. Because he can do enough to help your team win. He's not going to kill you every week. I think that Haskins absolutely is not a real quarterback because he was killing that team. Kyle Allen, not a real quarterback.
Ooh, but Kyle
Allen
did make my list.
I know he did, but not a real quarterback, DJ. Sorry.
Is Daniel Jones a real quarterback?
He is for the moment because he can get you through a game, but I just don't believe in his talent or his long-term ability. The real quarterback for me would be a guy that you think can help the rest of the players on the field around him instead of actively hindering them. I think Nick Foles is considered to be real quarterback in my book just because he's not going to make Allen Robinson bad just by being on the field. Allen Robinson continues to be a great player when Nick Foles is on the field. Dwayne Haskins, if he was the quarterback, he would make Allen Robinson bad. So I think that's where the distinction lies.
Okay, I'll buy that. I was just trying to find where the line was.
I don't really have a line, Doug. That's where I live my life. Names. I just make things up as I go along, and then I preach it as gospel.
Okay, we know Joe Flacco is elite, but is he a decent quarterback?
Is he a real quarterback?
Is he a real quarterback? Yes.
Not anymore, because he's a backup, so he doesn't matter. He doesn't exist in my world. Yeah, well, no, he's not. He falls into that not a real quarterback category because I think he's going to hurt you more than he's going to help you.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Depends on the week. Did he just get paid or not? If he didn't get paid, then he's great. If he just got paid, he's done. It's over.
Okay. Trying to see who else is in here. Derek Carr. Derek Carr is always a testy one.
I think it depends on the throw for Derek Carr because if Derek Carr last week against the Chiefs, he looked great because he figured out he could just throw it real far and Henry Ruggs is going to run under it because he's faster than everybody. But then Derek Carr has one of the most perplexing interceptions I've ever seen where nobody was even close to the ball. So I don't know what to make of Derek Carr. It varies throw to throw. And that's why I don't really invest in anybody wide receiver wise on the Raiders at this point because I don't know who you're going to get at quarterback.
All right, last one. My boy Gardner Minshew, the stash.
I think he's more mystique than he is quarterback. And I think he falls into my real quarterback category because he doesn't hurt the players around him. DJ Chark is still fantasy relevant. Chenault is like on those breakout lists right now because he's put together 2 really good games in a row. I think he's over 80 yards receiving the last 2 games, like on average. So he's not a quarterback that's going to kill you. So he's a real quarterback. I just don't buy it yet.
That is fair. All right, so that will take us to the end of this segment. Yep, that'll take us to the end of this segment. Let me look at our live reads. Okay, good. That was the people I didn't think I had forgotten. People are pinging at me. Why is my wife asking me where I am? I'm in the basement. Okay, so on the other side of this, we will finish up this show. We still happily take your questions. Get those in. They have been coming in here through the chat. You can always tweet them to us or drop them in on Facebook as well. Get those to us, and then we'll hit the rapid fires on the way out the door. And now my phone is blowing up. All right. Rock River Fitness, located at 3416 Blackhawk Road in Rock Island, offers a wide variety of classes starting as low as $7 per class and just $10 for specialty classes. Include different yoga, Zumba, cardio, fusion, and strength training. Rock River Fitness has a little something for everyone and at a crazy affordable rate. Find them on Facebook, the MindBody app, or visit their website, rockriverfitness.com, planning your next fitness class. Fitness, where fitness is fun. All righty. So,
Doug, got to answer this question first. Better place to be, basement or doghouse?
definitely the basement. I have all of my internet gear down here.
Doug's probably craftier about sneaking around his house too, so he could like sneak upstairs and like steal away snacks and get them down to the basement. Whereas if you're in the doghouse, you're gonna hear that door when you come inside. That's the real problem.
That's true. At the top of the stairs is the fridge.
Yeah. So he could sneak his way up there and get those snacks.
Thank you, sir.
Definitely could. All right. So let's take a look and see what we've got for the questions. Did you got these all updated?
I does indeed.
You does it, did it, in diddly doodly? Okay. So first up, Gunner wants to know, start one, Travis Fulgham, Deebo Samuel, or Daryl Henderson?
Deebo.
I think any other week I would say Deebo, but I'm really starting to feel Fulgham a little bit. I don't like him long term, but I think this week he has reasons to really have another huge game.
I am all team Deebo there as well. All right. Gunner also wants to know, for a super flex of starting two, Mr. Foles, Mr. Godwin, or Amari Cooper, if that's who you want to hang with.
I get two of them?
Two, please.
Godwin Cooper.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Godwin Cooper.
Fine. I'll go. Kyle Carstens wants to know, Fournette or McKinnon?
Fournette.
McKinnon's going to get catches. So if it's a PPR, I would go that way. But I think Fournette's more of an all-around solid option.
I'm going to go McKinnon there. Agree with Chris. Kirk Clark wants to know, in a PPR, Edelman or Preston Williams?
Edelman.
I have a deep, dark love for Preston Williams. I don't know why. I think he's really, really talented. I think for consistency's sake, you would go with Edelman, but the upside of Preston Williams is probably higher.
Yeah, I think your chances of Edelman, or I think starting Williams, you're counting on him getting into the end zone.
With Williams, he's been very inconsistent this year. He hasn't quite taken off in the offense the way I expected him to. So for that reason alone, I think I would go with Julian Edelman.
All right. Justin Stanquist wants to know, Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins?
Kirk. I have Kirk as quarterback 12 and Goff as quarterback 13.
Yeah, I think I'd go with Captain Kirk as well here. He's got to do better than Goff against San Francisco. Goff really did look good last week, so there might be a reason to have some hope there, but I think Atlanta's defense just can't stop anybody, so I would go with Kirk.
I will take the in-laws here. Justin Stanquist also wants to know, Sanders or Freeman?
Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I would go with Miles Sanders every time.
Same. All right. Michael Karras wants to know, Drake or Lindsey?
Lindsey. I think that I'm a little uncomfortable with Chase Edmonds' role in the Arizona offense.
I would go with Drake because he's going against Dallas's defense, and Dallas can't stop anyone. It is embarrassing. There it is, right there.
Wait, hold up. I don't have the screen up. Anyone? Okay. Yes. There you go.
See,
all right.
Consistency, Doug. That's what the name of the game is.
All right. Dustin Garisher wants to know. Oh, by the way, I would take Lindsey. Dustin Garisher wants to know Darrell Henderson or Devin Singletary.
Yes, Devin Singletary.
I don't like Devin Singletary, but I would take him in this matchup.
Clean sweep, which means start Henderson. All right. Dustin also wants to know what to do with Zach Ertz.
Play him unless you have a better option, which I doubt you do.
Like I said earlier, I think there's a lot of reasons to believe he's going to have a breakout week this week. Baltimore can't really stop the tight end. That's the one area they've really struggled in. And I think the fact that Carson Wentz and Ertz have been putting in extra practice time to get on the same page together is something that you're going to see pay off this week, especially with Goddard being banged up.
If you can start his wife, she's the better athlete. All right. Jordan Rangel's book of questions. God, 12 of them. Holy crap. All right. Brandon Cooks, is Julian Edelman or Philip Lindsay in the flex?
Probably Philip Lindsay. I think that he's going to have a big week just because the problems going on with Melvin Gordon. He's going to see more like time in that backfield, and I think he's going to be the most consistent option for you there.
Agreed.
I would say Brandon Cooks just to screw with Chris. Pick 2 running backs.
And you're dead to me now too, Doug.
Yeah. Love you too, buddy. All right. Pick 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, and 1 flex. So set his lineup with Madison, James Robinson, David Montgomery, Cooper Kupp, Juju, and Jamison Crowder.
Madison, Robinson, Kupp, and Juju.
Robinson, Kupp, and I forget the other names because I was trying to hold on to those 2 names in my head.
Madison, Montgomery, Cooper, Juju, Crowder.
Amari Cooper? Yeah, put that in there.
Cooper Kupp, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. What after that? What was it?
Juju and Jamison Crowder.
Juju.
All right.
Move on,
I
guys.
agree with whatever DJ said 20 minutes ago. All right. Travis Fulgham, James White, or Christian Kirk in the flex?
Fulgham,
yeah. I think that James White, it's going to be more consistent, but Fulgham has a higher ceiling, and it's going to be big for him again this week.
All right. He has Russell Wilson on a bye, so he needs a streaming option of Cousins, Foles, Dalton, or Jones, and you must woof your answer.
Because Linda said so, Cousins, woof.
I'll go with Dalton. I think Dalton is set up to kind of try to solidify himself as a player that needs to be looked at going forward to get that extra guy out of the box to help Zeke out. So they're going to try and be pass heavy this week.
I need you to bark.
Well, woo!
There you go.
That's a howl, not a woof.
I know what the difference is.
All right. I guess we'll go with whatever Linda says too. So Cousins, woof woof. All right. Pick 1 wide receiver and a flex between DJ Moore, Justin Jefferson, Christian Kirk, Travis Fulgham, T. Higgins, and James White. So pick 2 of
Moore and Jefferson.
Jefferson and Higgins.
Give me Moore and Fulgham. Why not?
Moore's not even the best wide receiver on his team, Doug.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Gronk or Dalton Schultz?
Dalton
Yeah.
Schultz.
Yeah.
I don't even know who Dalton Schultz is, but I would take him over Gronk.
I'm kind of with Chris on that one. OBJ or Bobby Trees?
Bobby Trees.
I never know who that is when you guys say that every time.
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods.
Okay, Robert Woods then, yeah, 100%.
All right. Yeah, definitely Bobby Trees. All right. Pick 1 running back and 1 flex of Myles Gaskin, Devin Singletary, James White, T. Higgins, Chase Claypool, and Fulgham.
Chase Claypool, and then none of the running backs.
Oh my God. Singletary and Fulgham.
Let me go White and Claypool, just to mix things up. All right, we have a maximum of two quarterbacks on our roster. I have QB1 Russell Wilson on a bye and Joe Burrow as a backup. Do I start Burrow against Indy, or do I drop Burrow for Mayfield, Foles, Dalton, or Jones? No, I'd say you ride with Joey Burrow.
I dropped Burrow for Dalton.
Is this a keeper league or is this a redraft?
This is all the information we have, Christopher.
I don't like it, DJ. I need to know my things. I would roll with Burrow. I'm okay with him. I think that there's no reason to think that Burrow's going to have a big old clunker or anything like that.
Burrow, row your boat. All right. Where was I? Okay. Pick one running back, one wide receiver, and two flex. So pick 4 names. I know. We're just setting his lineup every week. That's all we're doing. James Robinson, Todd Gurley, Devontae Parker, Calvin Ridley, Stephon Diggs, Chase Claypool, Deebo Samuel.
Robinson and Diggs, and then Gurley and Ridley.
Robinson, Diggs, Claypool, and was Deebo in there?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
All right. I'm going to go Robinson, Ridley, Diggs, Deebo. Pick 2 of Devontae Parker, Chase Claypool, or Jamison Crowder.
Parker and Claypool.
Claypool, and what was the last one?
Crowder.
Yeah, Crowder. Yeah.
Chris, it was in redraft for the Burrow question.
Oh yeah, then take your shot wherever you want. I'd be okay with that. Just dropping Burrow for a week.
All right. And did Doug enjoy taking 2 L's to Jordan's fantasy teams last week? Yes, I did, because I think I went 0-3. So I got smacked around pretty good last week. All right. Rapid fires. Top scoring wide receiver in Arizona, Dallas.
Nuck.
It's Duke.
It's what I say it is.
All right. How do I mute you?
I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb.
It's still Nuke, even though DJ can't pronounce it correctly. All right. Travis Fulgham, over under 55.5 receiving yards.
Over.
I'm going to say 54 and call it the under. All right. Top scoring quarterback this week.
Mahomes.
Lamar.
I had a dream that Kyler Murray was ripping people up, so I'm going to take him.
Doug had a dream.
It sounds like a fever dream, Doug.
I think it actually was. All right. Alexander Madison, over under 81.5 rushing yards. My fantasy team say over.
Over.
I would say he's going to be under rushing yards, but total yards he'll be over 100.
Okay. Aaron or Ronald in the Jones
Aaron.
Aaron, yeah, absolutely.
Same. More passing. Oh, God. More passing yards, Cam or Drew Lock? This is not even a question.
Drew Lock.
This is not a swag game, DJ.
Hey, Doug, we got another question, and after
Patriot.
we answer this, can you do this listener question real quick?
Yes.
Go for it. It's Cam.
Yeah, of course it's Cam. All right. Ethan Gordon wants to know, Fitzmagic or Matty Ice?
Matty Ice.
Yeah, that team's going to be behind. I would go with Matt Ryan.
Same. Hello, Renata.
Yeah, that's my little guy right there.
Ah,
Throwing around his cuteness.
there you go. Now,
He had a
somebody on
glass
the
up the
show's gotta be-
screen for a second there.
somebody on this show's got to be cute, because Lord knows it ain't us. All right. Top scoring running back this week.
Zeke.
Oh, running back? That's going to be tough. Let's go. Are the Raiders playing this week? I'm sorry, I didn't look at
No,
it.
they're not. They're on a bye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jonathan Taylor, then.
Give me The guy from Tennessee and all his stiff arms.
The
Derrick
stiff arm
Henry.
is right out of the
Derrick
league,
Henry.
Doug.
Derrick Henry, yes. I was thinking Travis Henry. I knew that wasn't right, but I couldn't.
He did.
He'll push you down and then he'll hit you over the head with his Heisman.
Yes. Yes, that'd be awesome. Top scoring wide receiver in Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
Jarvis Landry.
Wide receiver?
Yeah.
And it was Cleveland and who? Pittsburgh? I'll go with Claypool. Why not?
Deadpool.
Deadpool, Claypool.
All right. Give me Juju. All right. More receiving yards. Will Fuller, or Jonnu Smith?
Will Fuller.
Jonnu Smith.
Starts in 30 minutes.
Let's go Will Fuller. He's got more chance to go downfield. More rushing yards. Josh Robinson or the Detroit backfield?
Starts in 30 minutes.
Josh Robinson.
Matt Patricia is the worst. Josh Robinson.
I agree. Could you guys hear my Alexa tell me that the game's
Yes.
going to start in 30 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right. Rest of the season, do you want Claypool or Fulger or Ham?
Claypool long term, Fulgham right now.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Who's the top scoring wide receiver this week?
Nuck.
Still new. Didn't we already? Oh, I was going to say, didn't we already have that? But that
We
was
throw that in so often that it's always him too. I feel bad.
fine. Anybody not named him?
Diggs.
Ooh, Diggs is a good choice. I will take. Give me Devontae Adams. He's going to torch those guys. I got a feeling.
I got a feeling.
More turnovers.
Singing again.
And-
Over under on DJ singing.
More turnovers. Joe Burrow or Phillip Rivers?
Burrow.
Rivers.
Rivers. Old man Rivers. All right. Mike Davis or David Montgomery?
Rivers.
Oh, that was the over right there. You opened the door to him, Doug. You alley-ooped it right to him, and he slammed it home. This is all
Mike-
your fault now.
Mike Davis.
I'll take anybody other than Mike Davis.
All right. So David Montgomery? Okay.
No!
No, that's literally the question. Davis or Montgomery?
Anybody other than Mike Davis.
Okay. Will Leonard Fournette score?
No. That's the first time I ever said that.
Yeah, if he gets the ball in the one.
I'm going to go with no. Wheel of Rams pass catchers, Cup, Woods, Everett, Higbee.
The wheel.
Spin it.
DJ, I just set you up again. Come on, DJ. Big wheel keeps on turning. Come on, DJ.
Cup.
I just keep lofting him up there, and he just keeps waving his arms. at him.
He doesn't know any Proud Mary.
I know he doesn't.
Left a good
Yeah.
job in the city.
I'm good with Cup because Robert Woods had the wheel last week, so it's got to be Cup this week.
Give me Higbee. That sounds fun. All right. Top scoring tight end, DJ. You can't say Kelsey.
Other than Kelsey Kittle.
I want to say Kittle too, but I'll go with my boy Mark Andrews.
Ooh, that's a good one. Bum, bum, bum. Screw it. Jimmy Graham. All right. More 1 yard touchdowns. Is this for the rest of the season, Deej?
Yeah.
All right. More 1 yard touchdowns the rest of the season, Fournette or Evans?
Fournette.
Evans. He's
Evans.
already got it locked.
Yep. Jets over under 17 points at Miami.
Under.
Way under.
I think they get over.
More total yards, Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes?
Who do they play? Are they playing each other?
They're playing each other.
Mahomes.
Yeah. Josh Allen. Because
Yeah, give me Allen because I want to hear DJ cry.
they're going
I
to do
forgot
stupid things,
to
and they're
reinforce
going to
the
try
fact
and
that DJ's best team in the league has the exact same record as the Bears.
Wow. I think that the Chiefs are going to do stupid things and try and like justify that signing. So there's going to be a little more running than usual. So maybe
he won't play till next week.
I know that's probably true, but they want. I don't know. You're probably right.
Okay.
All right. And then the last one, who goes to the World Series, Braves or Dodgers?
I want the Braves, but I know the Dodgers are going to win. This is one of those games that they just accidentally win.
I'll say Braves.
Yeah, I want the Braves, but who are they starting in game? Who's Dodgers starting in Game 7? Are they starting Kershaw?
Probably against Ian Anderson, I would guess.
Yeah. Let's say if they start Kershaw, I'll take the Dodgers. Otherwise, I'll take the Braves.
But Doug,
Interesting
Kershaw's
with
bad
Kershaw.
in the playoffs.
Yeah, real bad.
Yes, which is how we got to the World Series.
Oh, we got to the World Series because what's his name? Julio Urias was awful, and they pitched him when the Cubs were on the brink.
Coincidentally, the Cardinals also got to the World Series because Clayton Kershaw not good.
Wow. Cardinals.
I had to. Doug started that.
Missouri. All righty. That will do it for this week. We forgot to plug our Wednesday night show of Short Yardage that is sponsored by the Big Cheese. So I want to give a shout out to them. So say thank you to those guys. Hang out with us every Wednesday night at 8:30. Thank you, DJ, for popping that up. You can come hang out with us. That show's a little bit less scripted. You can come out and just kind of talk some bull with us. All right, so that will do it for this week. We will see y'all next Sunday or next Wednesday, whenever you guys want to pop in. I am Doug. That is, I don't know. My camera's backwards. It's confusing me. They are who they are. Got the redheaded one and the weird-looking one. We will see y'all next week.